Well, you see, it's from this last homework. I'm having real trouble proving the Weingarten equations. I just don't quite understand how a form on vectors tangent to a manifold can tell us how to compute the covariant derivative of a field normal to the manifold. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yes, this is a tricky problem. I won't give you the answer, but I will try to hint at a solution.
Oh, good, good. With the final coming up and all, you see it.
Come to the couch, Billy. Relax, lie down. See, the trick here is to focus on this part first, and then consider its relation to this. And then lastly, this part here, in this order. What is this a picture of? Oh, I indicated.
Penis?
Interesting.
How is the fact that you just drew a penis on the board interesting?
Billy, I know that the answer to this question lurks inside you somewhere. But it's deep down in your unconscious, where your sexual impulses live. We cannot access these murky depths directly, so we must pay attention to every clue that surfaces, like a dead fish rising from the toxic depths of Lake Michigan.
Professor, what does sex have to do with Riemannian geometry?
Sex. Sex has everything to do with Riemannian geometry. From the undulating curves of a surface embedded in space, the gentle kiss of the osculating circle, to the rigidity of the Riemannian metric. Tell me about when you were young.
Professor, I don't see what that has to do with any...
Just
Well, I grew up on a farm in Kentucky. Went to a very small school. The teacher was really into penmanship. He would make us write out the alphabet over and over again. I can still feel the pain in my hand now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. I, J, K. Stop! I think I've got it! The pain of those lessons must still be with me, crippling me every time I write a Christoffel symbol. Maybe this is why I need to put page numbers on every page of my algebra assignments. Maybe it explains that strange urge to put boogers on my Peter May homeworks. Oh my God. Sean, maybe you have something like this in your past, and that would explain why you're so anal about having to write down every line of every single computation.
I am a professor, you are a student, you will sit, that's it. I am sure we have not gotten to the bottom of this problem yet. Let's do a little relaxation exercise to help us delve deeper. Focus on the Christoffel. You are feeling very indexed and locally coordinatized. Now, tell me about your father.
My father? Why, I barely remember my father. He was only with us when I was very little, and then, well, not at all. My mother had to work 2 jobs just to keep us fed.
What did she do?
Well, patent law and also surveying. I mean, you'd think one of those would be enough, but nobody was having any good ideas back then, and well, most of the land had already been surveyed. The 80s were a strange time. Anyway, she would go out to the construction sites and lay down markers corresponding to the blueprints, and that's funny. I mean, all of her measurements, all of her work, it was based on Euclidean geometry, and, well, the Earth, it's not Euclidean at all. Could that be the root of my problem?
I think we're really getting to the bottom of it now. natural geometry, but secretly this excited you. Stoking the fires of your passion for her, which of course drove you into mathematics, in nothing but an attempt to replace your own father. It's a classic Oedipal complex. Good, yes.
I'm just gonna go ask Wikipedia.
But Billy, this is a major breakthrough. You can't go yet. Billy, we're making such progress. I guess I'll see you next week.
At length, George Glasman shuffles in, followed by John Alpern. They sidle up beside the crucible.
Ah, you guys don't take a holiday, do you? How was the crossword today? Any tricky ones?
But the cryptic is a demanding mistress, and interruptions are placed in a queue to be dealt with at the appropriate juncture.
Oh, green was for Nate's style in a downgrade resort. Rococo take the O and volley without nay leaves broccoli. Oh, that clue doesn't get nay from me either.
George Gladman realizes he'll have to wait if he wants to be heard, and shuffles on towards the coffee machine.
I think the New York Times is more my style anyway.
George retrieves a cup from around the side of the coffee machine, places it under the nozzle. He rummages through his pockets to find 2 quarters and places them in the coin slot. He then presses the coffee button. There's a high-pitched beep. He looks around, then presses the button again. The beep repeats.
Tank is filling. That means it's out of water. They need to refill the water.
George looks around, hoping that one of the people who serve tea will come and refill the water for him. When that fails, he looks over at the table, hoping one of the crossword solvers will know a way to refill the tank. He walks over that way, hoping to be noticed without actually having to ask a question.
An esky is a type of cooler, right?
Of course. What else would you call it?
Never heard of it, but 14 down is blue sky. Headless club reconstituted for cooler, clear weather.
George Gladman gives up on trying to ask his question and heads on towards the door. But John Alpern's not inclined to give up quite so easily.
Hey, did you guys get the coffee machine to work today?
No, we just come here for the crossword.
Oh, you want the coffee machine? You can use the statistics tea room. And their coffee's free.
Maybe we'll just give up for today.
No, really. Take my key. You know where it is, right?
I know the room. It's just down the stairs.
Greg Law is happy to help by handing over his key and turns abruptly back to the task at hand.
Maybe we'll get some coffee today after all.
Several cryptic clues later, George Gladman returns from his adventure, a little forlornly, and goes to hand back the key.
I tried the statistics tea room, but the coffee machine there doesn't work either. It wouldn't even turn on.
The statistics tea room? But I was just there myself. I got coffee too.
Well, now the machine's not working.
This news is surprising enough to make Greg Lawler turn entirely away from his crossword, sacrificing some of his sizable head start.
But the machine can't have Are you sure you went to the statistics tea room? Where did you go?
Down the stairs, near the door, just like you said.
Did you happen to see any mail lying around? Were there any mailboxes there?
Now that you mention it, maybe there were some mailboxes.
Yeah, that's the mail room. You want the staff room, down the stairs, to the right.
George Glauberman hesitates, unsure as to how he could possibly have mistaken these two rooms.
Here, take back my key. Seriously, it's no trouble.
But unfortunately, there's a limit to the amount of adventure that you should fit into any single day.
Thank you, but no, I don't think we shall tempt fate any further.